And looks like we're live. Hi, so today we're going to be doing leg and hip flexibility. So we're going to be doing these stretches together. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. We're going to get started with the hip adductors. We're going to be stretching these big muscles on the inside of your leg. So to do that, we're going to go to the ground. So what I do is sit with your back against something. It could be a wall or just something that's firm. And you're going to bring your legs out to the sides as far as you can. The further out you go, the more of a stretch this is going to be. Now you might feel a stretch in here already, and that's fine. If that's a stretch for you, just stay right where you are. If you need to increase that stretch a little bit, you can bring your chest forward to increase that stretch. For me, I'm going to be trying to hold right about here. All these stretches, we're going to try and be in a held position. So we're doing a static stretch, which means we're just holding that lengthened position for a prolonged period of time. What I used to do with this stretch is while I was in school, I studied in this position, and that was the last time I was able to do splits. I've lost a lot of that flexibility though, because I didn't maintain this. This is probably the #1 stretch I want to get back, is loosening these muscles up, getting more flexibility, because I find that the muscles in the back are being affected by how tight these muscles are in here. So muscles in the back of my hips, back of my low back. So I want to increase this flexibility the most. So if you find you have kind of low back problems and are really tight here, this is a great stretch for you. I'd encourage you to join me in this. And all of these we're holding for at least 20 seconds. And to get out of this position, what I like to do is just bend one knee and let my legs pull in, because it's a little hard to keep your legs straight and just pull them back together. So just bend one leg and pull them in. So we just stretched the muscles on the inside of the thigh. Now we're going to go towards the outside. So for this, you're going to bring your knee up, grab with your opposite hand, and pull over to the side. You should feel that stretch across your hip on the side. We're stretching that gluteus medius, these muscles on the outside of the thigh, right up here by your pocket. So if you need to, you can use two hands and hug your knee sort of into your chest, whatever feels comfortable, and try and relax into that stretch. None of these stretches should feel painful. They should all feel like a little bit of tension, so you know you're getting that stretch into the muscle, but no stinging pain, you shouldn't pull so hard that it's causing you discomfort. Now I find this stretch is a little bit easier for me. It's not as tight as the other one, but I still like to do it to maintain the flexibility I have in this muscle group. So bringing your knee up and pulling across your body towards the opposite side. So if you're stretching your left leg, grab with your right hand, pull it towards your right. Feel that stretch in the upper hip. Now some people, this muscle is so tight that even being in this position is difficult. If that's you, don't worry. Just go to where you can, where you feel a stretch. If you feel numbness down your leg, back off a little bit from this stretch until the numbness goes away. That can be if you're putting a little bit of pressure on the nerve. We don't want that. We want to go where we're stretching the muscle, but not putting pressure on that nerve. I like to do these stretches to maintain flexibility on my off week from working out. And I tend to do some of these stretches during the week before bed because I find it helps me relax. especially this next one. So I do this stretch probably every night. It's called a sit and reach. It's for the hamstring muscles and the back of your thigh. Now, a lot of people have tight hamstrings, but another muscle we're stretching is actually this adductor magnus on the inside in here. So if you feel it more on the inside of your thigh, that can actually be not your hamstrings, but a muscle right next to them. But you'll still should feel that stretch in the back of your thigh, this whole muscle section. So you're gonna put one hand over the top of the other and reach out towards the front. You're not reaching down towards your toe, you're reaching straight forward, because that way you're not putting extra stress on your back, and trying to hold that stretch. So think about reaching over the top of your toe, and that's what's gonna get into that hamstring. You should feel it all the way back to the back of the knee. Goes from the back of the knee up through the back of your hip. So anywhere along there is fine. And holding that for 20 seconds. Now, if you can't reach all the way forward, don't worry, just go to where you feel tension but no pain. You don't have to touch your toe, you don't have to get all the way out in front. Wherever is tension is where you want to go. You want to feel tension but no pain. A lot of people feel pressured to touch their toe, and that's not what's going to get you the most effective stretch. Sometimes that can actually cause injury if you pull too far too fast. Same thing on the other side. Bring your foot in to your knee, grabbing one hand over the top of the other, and then bring your hand out towards the front, keeping that chest up. Now this side feels tighter for me. For some reason, my right hamstring is tighter than my left today. So just because you got to a certain point on one side doesn't mean the other side's going to be able to do that same distance. So just go to where you feel tension. This is another stretch that I used to be more flexible in, especially when I was training martial arts all the time. We were constantly doing stretches and kicks and high kicks and working on being able to do head kicks. Or I was in the demonstration team, so we'd do a lot of high jump kicks and things. And so I've lost some of that flexibility over the years since I stopped doing that activity. And relax. All right, we're gonna go to standing for this next one. So we're gonna be stretching these quad muscles in the front of the thigh. So they actually go all the way from the hips to the top of the knee and into the shin bone actually. They attach up here at the top of the shin. So what we're gonna do for that is you're gonna reach around, grab your ankle, pull up to the back, feel that stretch in your quads, and hold that position. If you can touch your glutes with your heel, a way you can increase this stretch is by bringing your knee further back and then pull up more. And that'll get you a little more leverage to get a stretch into the quads. For some people, that is not possible. If you need to bring your knee a little forward to reduce that stretch, that's okay too. Just go to where you feel tension. So holding that stretch. I feel like I have a knot right in the front of my thigh on this one. As I'm doing this, it's actually letting go of some of that. I know it's not actually a knot, it just feels like the muscle's a little bit shorter. And then same thing on the other side. Reaching around, grabbing your ankle. You can use a wall or something for support. That way you don't have to worry about balance. You can just relax into the stretch. There's not much point to this one if you're wobbling or feeling like, oh, you're gonna fall over. Just grab onto something, and that way you can not have to worry about it. You could even use a chair just in front of you, just so you can hold on to something. That's totally fine. The whole goal of this is to actually relax into the stretch and be able to hold a continuous stretch on that muscle. And all these stretches we're holding for about 20 to 30 seconds, because that is the minimum time you need to help the muscle actually not just react, but actually be able to relax into that position. Whoop. So now I'm going to do a stretch I like to do. This is the stretch I learned really relieved sciatic pain for me. So I do it to maintain that flexibility. Oh. So what you're going to do, you're going to put one foot on in front of the other. And then, so this is the leg we're stretching. And then you're going to bring the foot one step in towards the middle. From here, put your hands down and you're going to walk out towards the front. See how my leg's kind of twisting? I'm stretching this piriformis muscle up here in the hip. So to do that, I need my knee up past my waist. Now, if you can, the further forward you walk forward, the more. So if you can do this, you don't feel a stretch, that's when I would move to this one, where we're putting the leg out in front. You can see on this one, I can't quite get my knee all the way to the ground, but I'm just going to where I feel tension in the hip. This is a muscle that runs right over the top of the sciatic nerve. And switch to the other side. Now you might find it's more flexible on one side than the other. Like on this side, this is much more flexible than my left. My left side is the side that had the sciatic pain. And that's why I do that stretch to maintain that left side especially, because it's more prone to be tight. My left leg, I've pulled more muscles in my left leg doing martial arts than my right. So I probably have a bit more scar tissue. It takes more work to maintain that flexibility in that left leg. So if you have a previous injury, it's going to take a little more time to get that flexibility. That's okay. I would recommend doing a lot of small stretching sessions rather than trying to force it. It's not gonna be able to be forced. You can't just push on it to get it there. That's just going to increase your risk of injury. So I encourage to do even daily, just little stretches through the day, 20 seconds, 30 seconds at a time of any of these stretches on a muscle you know is tight for you. So I'm going to do another stretch for the adductors, these muscles in here. And this is more in the groin up towards this hip bone. So what we're going to do is going to go into a kneeling position and we're going to stretch this leg. So putting this leg out to the side. From here, you're going to sit back towards your heel, bringing your chest down towards the ground, trying to push that hip back. So you should feel that deep in your groin. We're stretching these muscles on the inside of the thigh, but more the ones that attach up here by the hip. At least for me, that's where I feel this one the most, is though there's several muscles up here that attach deep in the hip. And holding that stretch. I used to do this stretch a lot too for martial arts. Most of these stretches were the things we did daily for martial arts. Not the figure four though. And that's, I think, why I pulled that muscle, because I hadn't been stretching that, hadn't been doing any work for the piriformis. And so I think it was, as I went to kick, it was a volatile movement. It was throwing out that kick, and that muscle just couldn't take that level of force. And so that's why I think I pulled that muscle. And same thing on the other side. Kneeling to the side. Kneeling, putting the leg out to the side, and dropping your hip back. Feeling a stretch on the inside of that thigh in that groin area. I like to stretch after a workout or sometime later in the day. If you stretch before a workout, you can actually hurt the workout a bit because your muscles are adjusting to that new flexibility and it throws everything off, so it can actually limit your strength. But stretching after can be a good thing. It helps you relax into the movement. Everything is all warmed up and you can gain flexibility. Sometimes you can gain flexibility by doing strength training as well, but stretching is focused flexibility too. And sometimes you can miss a muscle in strength training that you need flexibility in, like what happened for me. So that's why I'd encourage to have a well-rounded flexibility routine as well. It doesn't take very long. It's 15 minutes. And you could do that daily, every other day, but just taking a little bit of time can really make a big difference. So we just stretched the muscles in here. I want to just run through my list of muscles that I want to hit. Let's go ahead and do, I think I'm going to do this actually kneeling. We're going to do a runner's stretch and we'll finish with this. So these are the deep hip muscles in the front. So you should feel this. It goes actually from your spine to the front of your hip, right in here, right at the thigh, junction of the thigh and the hip. So for this, it's like a runner in the blocks. You're going to put one foot out in front. We're stretching this back leg. So from here, you're gonna push your hips forward. So I'm not bending forward like this. I'm trying to really push my low back forward. I should feel that stretch across here, across the front of the hip, and hold that position. So you can come forward like this, but the important thing is that the hips come forward too. That's why you don't want to just round your back, because that's actually changing how your spine, where the muscle attaches, is. So the big thing is we want to push those hips forward, feeling that stretch. When I was younger, this muscle didn't need to be stretched nearly as much, because I found that I was not doing a lot of driving, a lot of sitting, a lot of activities that where this muscle was shortened. And as I've gotten busier with work, it's easier for this muscle to tighten up. So now we're going to switch sides, switching to the back leg stretched. So pushing your hips forward and feeling a stretch across that front of the hip. How about you guys? Do you find that there are muscles that you found have suddenly started to get tighter depending on how you live? Like maybe you notice, oh man, while I drive a lot, suddenly my shoulders get really tight. Sometimes people notice that they've got tension right between their shoulder blades, or maybe how they sleep. That's another big one. I realized that I needed to start sleeping with a better set of pillows. I have a pillow, like a wedge pillow underneath my legs, and that helps some of the muscles not get nearly as tight in my hips because I have that support. The other one for me is making sure I not sleep on my stomach. Making sure I'm always sleeping on my back really helps the muscles in my neck and spine. And relax. All right, so that was our stretching for the hips and the legs. So if you like this sort of content and want to see more, I host live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Next week, we're going to be going into some more resistance training, doing some full body workouts. But we'll still, if you have questions, let me know. I always love questions, or if you want to join me in working out, staying happy and healthy, and being able to move how you want to, then we're focusing on muscle building along with just health of joints as we go forward. So thanks everyone for being here. Hope to see you guys next time.